But rather than me telling you about the impact our programs can have on individuals, we have invited ELDREDGE BLALOCK here this evening to tell you about his journey and the impact Episcopal Charities has had on his life. ELDREDGE is an alumnus of the Hudson Link for Higher Education in Prison program and holds a bachelor's degree in organizational management and leadership, as well as an associate's degree in liberal arts and science. He graduated as the class salutatorian, and he is not only a graduate of the Hudson Link program, but he is now working for Hudson Link as their development manager, raising money to help support their programming. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to ELDREDGE BLALOCK.
That was a great introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced like that before. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you all for attending this amazing event tonight and for allowing me the opportunity to share my story on the impact that Episcopal Charities has had on my life. I'll begin by saying that less than 5 months ago, I was released from prison after serving 21 and a half years. And to imagine that I would be a part of something of this magnitude, something this phenomenal, just would not have seemed real less than 5 months ago. This truly is unfathomable. I entered prison. I entered prison at barely 20 years old, reading at a 7th grade reading level and doing math at a 6th grade level. And when you're young and uneducated in prison, your options are very few. You actually have two options. One, you could go to school, get involved with different educational programs, which weren't mandatory back then. Or two, you can go to the prison yard and hang out with your peers. And as you can imagine, that decision was easy for me. I went to the prison yard, and I got exactly what that prison yard had to offer. But it wasn't until I was in that prison cell, locked down for 23 hours a day, that I actually read my first book. Now, it wasn't the most profound piece of writing, but I still remember how excited I was that I completed this book. I felt so accomplished, and I began to read everything I could possibly get my hands on. And I even started writing. A few years later, I obtained my high school diploma, but it wasn't until I was 15 years into my 22-year sentence that I arrived at a facility where Hudson Link for Higher Education in Prison provided college classes for the men serving time there. And I could not believe what I was seeing. Men were bringing books to the prison yard. They were studying. I've witnessed men, including myself, go from talking about sports, music, and the latest trends to conversing about social class and Karl Marx. Pre-calculus and derivatives, something that I personally just did not get along with. It was paradigm shifting. I finally had the opportunity to see myself and my life up to that moment in a completely different light. Education gave me the opportunity to gain perspective on identity, something that I struggled with for so long. Education, what I found in education gave me the opportunity to gain perspective on identity. There was no eureka moment, no trumpet signaling an epiphany. What I found in retrospect is simply the person who I was for so many years, who acted without thinking, was slowly fading away. And I liked it. Education did not just teach me what to think, it taught me how to think and how to continue to think for the rest of my life. And it was because of the generosity of people like you who gave to Episcopal Charities and many fundraising organizations like you that I was provided with the kind of intellectual confidence that went far beyond the walls of the school or the prison. I was provided with preparation for life. So when I talk about the power of education, when I claim with such force that education is transformative, and when I stress the fact that education has given me the tools to be a better husband to my amazing wife, that that education has given me the tools to be a better father to our children, that education has given me the tools to be a better friend, better neighbor, better human being, and as a side effect, yes, as a side effect, more employable, I do so from a position of deep, deep gratitude. And my journey from adolescence to incarceration, from reading my first book to obtaining 2 college degrees, and now becoming the first Hudson Link for Higher Education in Prison alumnus to hold the position of development manager, tells the story of the power that education can have even in the darkest places. And my journey as a young and uneducated man began in Shawangunk Correctional Facility, where there weren't many options. Today, Shawangunk Correctional Facility now has a fully equipped computer lab for their college students to utilize because of a grant given by Episcopal Charities. Episcopal Charities, the impact of your generosity is so far-reaching. There are going to be so many more powerful stories because of your generosity. And we at Hudson Link truly, truly are grateful for all that you've provided us. Thank you.